Good morning, Patriots. It's Praying Medic. This is Monday morning, March 12th. This is my latest QAnon update. This video will cover posts from Q that began on March 8th and go up until today. My theme for this series is no deals. So let's get into this. This is where we left off on March 8th. Q posted this, "Do you trust Sessions? Boom, Q." I believe Jeff Sessions is at work behind the scenes, working on some things, prosecuting some people that we do not know about. Sessions is pretty tight-lipped about what is going on at the DOJ. So Q has repeatedly told us, hey, trust Sessions, don't worry about it. So I trust Sessions. All right, next post. Q said, set the stage in quotes. POTUS. Do you believe? Buckle up. So if you've been following, you might know what set the stage means. I actually mentioned this in my previous video with the Hillary video. Q has been asking us to help set the stage, to get public discussion, keep the chatter going on social media about certain things. That helps set the stage so that they can do the things they need to do. In his speech on the 8th, the president was talking about steel and aluminum tariffs, and he specifically said the words set the stage. So Q is drawing a little connection there between what he posted and what the president said.
So they charge us 50, we charge them 50. Right now they'll charge us 50, we charge them nothing. Doesn't work. So that's called a reciprocal tax or mirror tax, and we're going to be doing a lot of that. It's the first year, we've really set the stage. A lot of it had to do with, structurally, we had to go through certain procedures in order to get to this.
And the next post from Q is, do you believe in coincidences? And he has a link here to a video. It actually goes to this video right here. So one of the Anons said, hand gesture what? And Q just responded back with the post number. And this is what Q was referring to. Yes, the hand gesture. The Q hand gesture. Is that a signal? Set the stage. Here's the Q hand gesture. One of the Anons posted this in response to the president's announcement about the steel and aluminum tariffs. It was necessary. China produces 10 times as much steel as the U.S. What if war breaks out? Matter of national security, geopolitics, to prevent war, peace through strength. And Q responded, plus deliberate performance issues to impact military and infrastructure. We were sold out. You have so much more than you know, Q. And Q has referenced this issue of President Obama and Hillary Clinton and others in the previous administration selling us out. So in the next Q post, Q is talking again about, I believe, Edward Snowden. We have these images of some buildings. Q says someone was up all night running. Live shot. We know. Your move, Q. In the last couple of days, Q has posted about Snowden saying, welcome to China. So the Anons have been digging, and they found these buildings. I believe it is in Shanghai. I don't think it's in Hong Kong. I think these buildings are in Shanghai, but Snowden's on the run, and Q and the team are tracking him. And going back to the previous post, where Q and the Anon were talking about the steel and aluminum tariffs, and Q said we were sold out. The Anon says this, Q, please tell us it's still no deals and that this people will face justice. Please just say yes. They will. I pray so hard every night. Q says, no deals. We work for you. We listen to you. You pushed for the Internet Bill of Rights, and immediately POTUS began to comment and take action regarding social media. Play the game with us, Q. So And right here is where Q says no deals. In response to Q's previous post where he said, learn to play the game, the Anon says, best game ever, boss. And then Q responds, everything has meaning. This is not a game. Learn to play the game. Q. So some people are confused, probably, and it's real simple. Q is simply saying, look, we are not messing around. These are very serious issues that are going on, that it's not a game. But in a sense, it is a game in that Q is inviting us into this dialogue through questions, through learning, through riddles. So in that sense, it's a game. But America being sold out and people acting like traitors is not a game. So don't get confused when Q says it's not a game and it is a game. Here, an Anon is excited to hear the news that the president is going to North Korea. Okay, here we go, Anons. Wow, huge. North Korea will meet with 45 President Trump, MAGA. Q says he already did. Think back _ NK pics. Everything has meaning. This will break the MSM Q. All right, so this is referring to when Q says, think back about the NK pics. This is when Q was posting on 4chan. He posted this picture that the president tweeted from the airplane flying on his return from Asia. Here's a better picture of it. Thank you, Asia. So at the bottom you can see Q said, isn't that curious? What's below? Q. In a previous post, an Anon said, hey, Q, did we agree that what was below was North Korea? And Q responded, do you think this was for nothing? So I think Q was confirming that this had to do with North Korea. And Anon then asked, why the stop in Hawaii after the Asia trip? It still makes me wonder. And Q said, DEF CON, no such agency. We knew. How did we know? Who did we meet? Need to know was kept to 5 people plus special security detail. Future proofs past. Q. So if you remember the DEF CON NSA issue, that involved this from January 7th, DEF CON 1, 4-10-20, Fire and Fury, parentheses 9, state of class ready to go live, parentheses 34, commands live, codes command action, brackets non-nuclear, brackets 1 owl, brackets 1 Q. So this was a week before the Hawaiian false missile alert. That was on January 13th. This is on January 7th. Q was giving us a heads up that there was going to be a missile threat, DEF CON 1, but he also said down here it was going to be non-nuclear. There was no actual threat. So Q is asking, how did they know in advance it was going to happen? Who did they meet with? I believe they had to go to the NSA headquarters in Hawaii and take care of some issues. Q then posted this in reference to the president's trip to Asia. Thank you, Kim Jong-un. Deal made, clowns out, strings cut. We took control. Iran next. Q. So, interesting post. Evidently, the deal was made with Kim Jong-un already, and this was when the president went to Asia. They got rid of the CIA influence. They cut the strings of the puppet masters. They've taken over control, probably with the help of President Xi Jinping of China, and Iran is up next. The Anons are curious to know when the president met with Kim Jong-un, and Q responded with this. Think Forbidden City. POTUS never crossed a line. Ground is in parentheses. Do not glorify us. We work for you. Promises made, promises kept. Q. So evidently, when the president visited the Forbidden City with President Xi Jinping of China, evidently Xi Jinping made arrangements for Trump to meet with Kim Jong-un and negotiate some terms. And that was a secret meeting. Press didn't know about it. And Q is just giving us, a little heads up that this was all in the works. It's already happened. And now we're just watching it unfold. 7 more years of doing the impossible. I am so glad Trump is our president. All right. And Anon made the observation about Iran, a tougher nut to crack. Q team, I hope your negotiations with Mahmoud are going well. Q responds, resolved by 11/11. Q. So, yeah, Q believes that they'll have the Iranian situation well in hand by the time we have the Veterans Day parade in November 11th. All right, moving on. One of the Anons said, Chris Matthews' panel is saying, it was the Olympics, not POTUS, that made this possible. Idiot losers. And Q says, break the MSM. And I mean, that's what's going to happen. As the mainstream media, who they hate Trump, and they've been told they need to discredit Trump as much as possible. It's only going to further discredit the media when they try to have these idiotic ideas about what it was that made North Korea come to the negotiating table. Most of us know it was Trump. It wasn't the Olympics. But if you keep saying that stuff long enough, your foolishness will be exposed. All right. So then Q posted this. It's just a picture from a car, the white sedan, and it says RTQ. I took it as an order to retweet, so I retweeted this on Twitter, this picture. And some people were asking me, okay, what's the random picture that you're tweeting out? I'm just following orders, sir. Q said retweet this thing. I believe this is just a suggestion that Q's team are following Snowden. I'm wondering if this white car may actually be Snowden's car, one that he rented. I don't know. All right, so Q then posted this at Snowden, 24 Twitter, A/B or C. We can take you anytime, Q. And that's why I think this has to do with Snowden. They're hunting Snowden, and they're putting pressure on him. And speaking of Snowden, Q said to watch the news. This I was up late last night after midnight doing this post. And this is a video of a German lawyer representing Snowden who said that Snowden is considering returning to the U.S. So, interesting development. And Anon posted this, Trump pointing at Obama saying, when I'm done, it'll be like you were never here. Q responded with this, when we're done, he'll claim Kenyan citizenship as a way to escape. And Anon posted this link, and it's in relation to a sudden announcement by Jack Dorsey. Every user on Twitter will soon be able to apply for a coveted blue check verification mark. The company's CEO, Jack Dorsey, said in a live stream, this is on Periscope on Thursday, using Periscope from the firm's San Francisco headquarters, Twitter executives revealed the process was being reworked from the ground up. They said that the current system creates confusion and can imply credibility, but stressed that it will be important to let users have a way to evaluate if profiles are legitimate. That is incredibly interesting because right now, the Twitter verification portal is shut down. I've been applying for a Twitter verification for probably 2 or 3 months, or trying to. And if you go to the page that you're supposed to put in the information to be verified by Twitter, the page is down. You can go there, but it just says it's under construction. So I haven't even been able to apply for Twitter verification for the last couple months. So this is a change, and I think this is actually a change that Q is going to refer to in the future. We go to the next post, and this is in the article. There's a lot of articles, actually. This is the Newsweek one that was linked up here in the post. All right. Q responded to that and said, hidden message at Jack. POTUS, delete and install coded message, in parentheses, except by LDR, Hillary, and others. LDR is Linda Rothschild. Allowing Snowden access and censorship and tracking, plus sharing groups C-9 all, plus trace upload that tone recognizes other devices with active geo, in brackets, all SIG devices. Don't drop the soap, Q. So what the heck is that all about? So Q is talking about the puppet masters, Linda Rothschild, Hillary, and others. I believe they were busted using a code that illegally snooped on Twitter users. Snowden helped them. Trump put some new ground rules into effect, forcing Jack and Twitter to accept them, and that the terms were accepted. That's just my belief. And then don't drop the soap, so somebody's going to jail over it. And Anon asked if we're going to have real freedom of speech in the near future. Q, are we going to have more freedom of speech on private public speech services or not? Please answer this question. Q says 100%, just like Trump says. Regulated. Some platforms will collapse under their own weight of illegal activities. So yes, Q says we are going to have freedom of speech, that viewpoint discrimination will be done away with. There has been a lot of momentum in the last few years on the subject of regulating social media platforms the way public utilities are regulated. And Q is suggesting that that's the direction it's going in. Lots of articles on that if you're interested. This one is from Fast Company. This second one here is from National Review, How to Break Silicon Valley's Anti-Free Speech Monopoly. It suggests that regulating social media in the same way we regulate utilities is probably the way to go. All right, this is Q's next post. Track inside sales and divestitures. They know. Watch the sell-off and liquidity events, Q. I did a little research, and let me click on this link. This goes to an article on the Daily Economist. Peak Facebook, insiders including CEO Zuckerberg dumping stock as users are spending 25% less time on the Facebook platform. How much stock is Zuckerberg dumping? You're about to find out. I did a little research for you. It's actually a lot. So Denise and I were up late last night, and we went to this website that reports on insider trading. On March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Zuckerberg sold 220,000 shares of Facebook each day. Each transaction was worth almost $40 million. And I didn't look at other days for the month. Let me zoom in on this, and you can see numbers a little bit better. So here you have, and I'll go to this website here in just a minute, and I'll show you how it works. If you want to go here yourself, you can do that. Facebook is the asset. Zuckerberg is the person that we're looking at. 220,000 shares. The share price is around $180 per share. Total value of this particular trade, it's $39,833,860. So this is on the 6th, this is on the 5th, and this is on the 7th. So Zuckerberg has been selling off a lot of shares. And I'm going to go to this. Let me zoom out a little bit before I move to I'll click on this and I'll show you how this works. So if you go to this page, it's Insider Trading Report. You can look at a lot of different, there's a lot of different ways. You can look at different assets. You can look at different people who are basically usually a board of directors, CEOs, COOs. And I went down to Facebook, which is right, I might have passed it. Oh, FB, there we go. And this is what I was showing you here. If you click on Facebook, or if you click on any company, it'll take you to a page for that company, and it will show you the history of insider trading, what that kind of activity people are doing as far as trading goes. And let me show you the next slide here. So this is from that page we're just on, and I'll zoom in. In February, insiders sold a little over 4 million shares of Facebook stock. The first week of March, they sold a little over 1 million shares. Total value is almost $1 billion on Facebook stock sold by insiders. If you're interested in this kind of information, you can go to insider-monitor.com and get that kind of information. All right, I'm going to go on to the next tweet. Investor Place has named Twitter stock as one of the 5 stocks to dump in the month of March. So I think this confirms what Q is telling us, that yeah, insiders are kind of, they see what's happening with social media. It's going to be regulated, and they're probably going to be divesting themselves and taking different positions. All right, and Anon asked for clarification about Snowden. If I'm understanding properly, this is suggesting that Snowden had a form of backdoor access to Twitter and Facebook. Hidden messages being left in deleted or altered tweets. I occasionally do something similar on boards where admins can see deletions and alterations. I write something and then delete or alter it. It's only visible if you happen to be paying attention and archive it within the time it takes to alter it. So another Anon responded. He says, being in the industry, I don't get the Snowden as Uber hacker talent. Doesn't seem to match his background, and unless someone is a super exceptional talent in a field with exceptional talent, doesn't wash. It takes a small group to really pull off a big engineering feat. Snowden as a developer who did X to hold the world in the balance just doesn't make sense. All right, so the Anons are scratching their heads. They don't get the Snowden connection. Here's another response from an Anon. You can give an average geek a unique next-gen tool and access, and they can look like a wizard. Another Anon response to that. True, but then why Snowden? It doesn't make sense. If they give him the tool, Snowden isn't of value to the NSA other than he's a trophy. The tech lives outside of him, and Q claims they own the CIA at this point. He's making assumptions. This is unfolding as if Snowden has something that no one else has access to. Snowden has fame for taking files and exposing, not of someone that has developed technology that no one else has. Something is not adding up. So if you are scratching your head over Snowden and saying it doesn't add up, you're not alone. A lot of the Anons just don't get it either. And this is what Q says. Which country does he really work for? Expand your thinking, Q. So Q is saying, look, you're not even looking in the right place. It's not about how smart he is. It's not about his skill. It's about who he's working for. Now, at this point, we need to take a serious look. Who is Snowden working for? Okay, and again, Q takes us back. Think, why would Snowden go public while in Hong Kong prior to traveling to his so-called final destination of Russia? These people are stupid. I haven't been willing to weigh in on this question yet, but now I think I'm ready to do it. Q asks why Snowden went to Hong Kong. My guess is because he's working for their government. It's why he went there instead of Russia. It's why he went back there now. They protect him. And I don't quite understand what the government is providing Snowden with and what he's helping them with. We're kind of getting some understanding of that. But I think at this point, I'm just going to decide that he's working for their government, and that is why he's important. And this would be a good time for me to tell you about the dream I had last night, probably. So I actually had a dream that involved Snowden, and it was about security, internet security, and systems that would prevent people from hacking into and getting access to sensitive information. And Snowden was in the dream, and it seemed as if the systems needed to be designed to keep people like Snowden out. People that you wouldn't suspect would actually be involved in trying to illegally access information. So if that's worth anything to you, you can pray into that. So Q goes on and says we should look at Snowden's family, look at their positions. Why are we giving him this much attention? Why are we providing this much sensitive detail in a public known forum? Everything has meaning. I have done a little bit of looking into Snowden's family. One of the Anons posted this. It is a LinkedIn profile from Lon Snowden, who is Edward Snowden's father, retired military officer, held a lot of different positions, has a lot of different training, avionics, different technology. I am not sure the link yet with Snowden's father. This is a CNN article that is an interview with Snowden's father, who says he is pleased with his son's life in Moscow, is proud of his son, and actually in this article from 2013 said that he believes his son deserves a Nobel Prize. So you can make of that what you will. Here's another article from Washington Times. It's an exclusive interview with Snowden's dad, who's expresses concerns that maybe Snowden would be in Russia for the rest of his life, that he'd never see him again. Concerned that he can't ever return to the States. And this is a third article, thefamouspeople.com, which looks into Snowden's family, his upbringing, things of that nature. This is a Q post. So previously, Q posted this meme and then this meme, and now Department of State tweeted this out. It's basically Secretary Tillerson arrived in Nairobi, and he's meeting with the Kenyan leadership to discuss terrorism, national security, peace talks, things of that nature. And this was on the 9th. And Q asks, do you believe in coincidences? So there's a tweet down here by the president in the lower corner, the president of Kenya. And that tweet is this one. And Uhuru Kenyatta said, had the great pleasure of welcoming my brother Raila Odinga to Harambee House, where we had the opportunity for extensive discussions on matters Kenya. We've come to a common understanding, an understanding that this country of Kenya is greater than any one individual. Now, that could be taken as just a generic statement. It could also be a swipe at President Obama, who has taken some of the spotlight regarding Kenya. I don't know if this is a veiled threat that Trump and his administration plan to dig deeper into Obama's birth certificate issue. It could be. I don't know. But it's a possibility. Moving along, Q posted this. Seals. Where there was once darkness, there is now light. Sea to shining sea. Godspeed, Q. I believe this is just a reference to the fact that SEALs are doing covert operations that are helping the president advance his agenda. All right, Q posted again, Snowden. Twitter, REC24D, Bravo-2GKVT, brackets 24RRQ. I don't know what that's about, other than it's about Snowden and Twitter. Maybe received 24 something. Don't know exactly. And then you have this code here. Your guess is as good as mine. This is the next post by Q, which is he responds to an Anon who asked if Twitter was going to be in receivership in 24 days. Shut him down. And Q responds, no. He gave Snowden 24 hours to respond. He did so smartly in public view. So let's go to the next post. On the morning of the 10th, Q posted this. Reread regarding Australia. Australian donations to Clinton Foundation. Why is this relevant? More than you know. This is big Q. So evidently, we are supposed to go back and research what Q has posted. And, of course, news articles about Australian donations and the Clinton Foundation. There's actually quite a few articles. Australia was actually one of the largest donors to the Clinton Foundation, pledging more than $25 million. As I've said before, bribing public officials is illegal, but most politicians have foundations or institutes where you can make donations. And Q is suggesting that these institutes and foundations are really just a way for politicians to take bribes so that they give people political favors in exchange. So Q wants us to look into that. Speaking of Australia, Q posted this. Which conversation was leaked? POTUS and Australia. Why that specific conversation? Signal. We, parentheses, they, hear what you are saying. Threat to Australia. Why? What do they know? Trapped, forced, blood, Q. So Q is suggesting we need to look into the leaked conversation between President Trump and Turnbull and dig into why that conversation was leaked. This is another post by Q. Do not focus on the call details. We knew it would leak. We knew certain areas of the White House were bugged. We knew certain people would leak. Focus, why Australia? So Q says there is a strategic reason for the leak. Why would Trump leak the call between him and Malcolm Turnbull? I'm guessing that it has something to do with the Clinton Foundation, perhaps to leverage Turnbull into cooperating with our plan, letting him know that there is more sensitive and embarrassing conversations that could be leaked. And if he doesn't want that stuff getting out, he should probably cooperate with us. And, you know, I'm not saying that they're using extortion, but there's a suggestion that there's a little bit of pressure being applied. So one of the Anons made the observation that Trump updated his observations about North Korea. I'm just going to read. This is a tweet from the president. Chinese President Xi Jinping and I spoke at length about the meeting with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. President Xi told me he appreciates that the U.S. is working to solve the problems diplomatically rather than going with the ominous alternative. China continues to be helpful. Q posted in response 11:11, 11:11, and this is the president's tweet. And I am guessing by Q posting 11:11, he is saying that they're hopeful that by November 11th they can get this whole thing sorted out. And Anon posted about Planned Parenthood. Q responded, review congressional investigation. Reread drops about Planned Parenthood. We are working to end evil, not as it appears. There is a congressional investigation. It's actually a DOJ investigation into Planned Parenthood right now for selling fetal tissue. Their CEO announced, I think in February, that she is going to be stepping down later this year. So there are problems for Planned Parenthood. Q says, hey, we're on it. Don't worry about it. So here an Anon asked if we're going to have a big week. And Q says, March Madness. So it's Monday. Looking forward to a lot of big news. Like I said, I'll be kind of busy, so hopefully I can keep up on Q's posts. March Madness. Well, I decided to throw in a shot of one of my favorite basketball players. I am a Badgers fan, and this is Frank Kaminsky. All right. Going back to Australia. So one of the Anons says Australia is part of the Five Eyes. Q says the Five Eyes are very important. They won't be around much longer. They are relevant here, but they're not the focus. So pretty self-explanatory. One of the Anons notes, hey, awesome. Five Eyes is basically a group of countries asking each other to spy on one another's citizens so they can skirt their own privacy laws, which is treason, by the way. And this is a post by one of the Anons. It is taken from a Wikipedia link about the Five Eyes. In 2013, documents leaked by Snowden revealed the existence of numerous surveillance programs jointly operated by the Five Eyes. The following list includes several notable examples reported by the media, and you can read them there: Prism, Keyscore, Tempora, etc. And Q says, interesting, isn't it? Full disclosure for the record, I do not post Wikipedia links because I find them to be the most trustworthy source. I've had people email me and say, why do you post links to Wikipedia? Yes, I know there is reason to question the validity of some of Wikipedia's information, but normies tend to trust Wikipedia more than other sources, so I use Wikipedia for their benefit, not for mine. I use a lot of different sources. When I do my research, sometimes I'll post New York Times links, sometimes CNN, sometimes Washington Post, but a lot of independent journalists. I try to post the most helpful links that I can find. Yes, I do know that there is disinformation involved in all of these news outlets, but you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones. So this is a post by an Anon that says, for the record, can you please tell these Anons, ES equals Eric Schmidt, at Snowden equals Snowden. ES does not equal at Snowden. These people just can't put two and two together. So Q is confirming, whenever Q reposts an Anon, he's confirming, yeah, you're onto something here. I would say this, I try not to get too locked into hard and fast rules on decoding initials. Q has posted the initials JB in the past, probably referred to Joe Biden, but could refer to James Baker, Jeb Bush, or a lot of other people. So I think you just need to keep in mind the context of the initials of the person that Q is posting about. Here, another Anon posts about, and this is quotes from the president, whatever happened to this Pakistani guy who worked with the DNC? The president asked in an interview published Thursday by the New York Times. Whatever happened to them, Trump continued, with 2 servers that they broke into 1 million pieces. Whatever happened to him? And the Anon asks, is Israel involved? And Q responded, we're saving Israel for last, very specific reason not mentioned a single time. So in the future, we're going to learn what Q and the team know about Israel, but we're not going to talk about that right now. One of the Anons wants to know if everyone is safe. I'm a parent. Hey Q, are all the operators safe and healthy? Praying every day. Q says, we appreciate all of your prayers. We really do. Thank you for God and country and the world. Q. This is a post by an Anon, and Q responds to it. I love this one. So the Anon says, I swear Trump is killing me here. He keeps putting out clues that he's already talked to Kim. And this is a tweet from the president. Let me go to that. I'll show it to you here. North Korea has not conducted a missile test since November 28, 2017, and has promised not to do so through our meetings. I believe they will honor that commitment. A lot of people are saying they don't trust Kim Jong-un, they don't trust North Korea. Trump is saying, nope, I think they're going to honor their commitment. And he references November 28th. Why would North Korea suddenly stop testing in November? That's right after the time that Trump visited Asia. And Q has suggested that Trump has already met with Kim Jong-un. So Q here responds, you are learning how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible. Wait until you learn who has been talking to you here. Q. So eventually we're going to learn who has been talking to us through Q's posts, and it's going to surprise us. I am looking forward to that. Alrighty, moving along. This is a post by Q. Another coincidence. Snowden tweets after the 24 Twitter requirement. Public view. You have more than you know. Q. So that is again referring to this previous post from Q, where he gave Snowden a 24-hour time to post. And this is what Snowden tweeted out on March 9th within the 24-hour window. I'm guessing this is just proof of life. Some people may have been concerned that Snowden had already been taken, and Q wanted Snowden to post to prove that he was still free. All right, Q posted this. Future proofs past revealed Sessions has appointed someone outside of D.C. long ago. What are sealed? Reread drops regarding Podesta and Huma. You have more than you know. All right. Previously, I had been discussing the likelihood that there would be a second special counsel appointed. But Jeff Sessions announced that he has already appointed someone a long time ago who's outside of D.C., who has a long history with the Justice Department, who is already looking into all of these allegations of corruption in the government, DOJ, and FBI. So Sessions anticipated the need. It looks like we're not going to get a special counsel, and I don't have a problem with that. I trust Sessions. Sessions knows what he's doing. If he thinks that appointing this, which is essentially a special prosecutor, it's just not publicly known. So I'm cool with that, and Q says, what are sealed reread drops regarding Podesta and Huma? So let's look into that. Sundance at Conservative Treehouse has done a really good job of looking into the appointment by Sessions of a prosecutor who is not a second special counsel. I would definitely, if you're interested in that subject, keep track on what Sundance is posting on Conservative Treehouse. It will save you a lot of frustration and a lot of pulling out your hair. All right, this is a very long post, and this is actually, I think, Q's second post ever. This is from October 29th of last year. Some of us come here to drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. Follow Huma Abedin tomorrow. POTUS will not be addressing the nation on any of these issues as people begin to be indicted, and he must remain neutral for pure optical reasons. To suggest this is the plan is false and should be common sense. So Q here is saying when people are indicted, Trump is going to have to remain neutral. He can't talk about it publicly because it would cast him in a bad light. The mainstream media would jump all over it. So when people are indicted, don't expect Trump to have a lot of reaction to it. Also, I think that it suggests that people are going to be indicted and it's not going to be in the public view. It's not going to be reported by the mainstream media. These people will go before the grand jury. The indictments will be unsealed. They may be wearing ankle monitors that no one knows about, or sometimes you do know about them. Focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why that might be used versus or maybe against any three-letter agency. What Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate? What must be showed? And I think Q is getting at here the idea that Trump has declared a state of emergency that allows him to use the military rather than civilian law enforcement to do what he needs to do. Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? Again, there are a lot more good people than bad, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, not just Democrats. Don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, the Rothschilds, Clintons, etc. have more power present than POTUS. Follow the money. It's the key. What is Pelosi's net worth, by way of example? Why, coincidentally, is her memory apparently going? Cover for possible future indictment to plead what? Temporary insanity. What if John McCain, oh, he said his name. He says he doesn't say his name. What if McCain never had surgery and that was a cover for a future out if he needed it against prosecution? Why did Soros transfer his bulk public funds to a nonprofit? Note, this doesn't include massive slush funds that are pulled by several high-ups. Why did Soros' son have several meetings with Canadian Prime Minister, and how is that related to the Clintons? Why is MS-13 a priority? Could people pay such gangs to kill opponents, and why and how to insulate against exposure? Seth Rich. The truth is mind-blowing and cannot be fully exposed. These people are evil. Operation Mockingbird. So, good background on what Q is up to, if you haven't read that. And this is another post by Q that gives more information on indictments. I'm going to spare you all this stuff. This is worth reading. It's on my Twitter timeline. If you go to any of the Q websites, this will take you back to the 4chan page where Q is originally posting. I'm just going to read this bottom part that's in the red box. What was the DC vote breakdown between Trump and Clinton? I think it was pretty lopsided. Clinton, I think, won like 90 to 95% of the votes. Trump got like 5 to 10%. What is the nickname for DC? Why would sealed indictments be outside of DC jurisdiction? What purpose would this serve? Why are judicial appointments being rapidly completed? Who can you trust? Have faith, patriots. Q. So Q here says that Trump is well aware of how corrupt DC is. Actually, in his speech from Pennsylvania, he said specifically, DC is a very, very dirty place. There's a lot of very evil people there. So Trump is aware of the corruption in DC. He is expediting judicial appointments because there's a whole lot of sealed indictments that need to be unsealed and people need to be prosecuted. Speaking of which, yesterday in the news, 40 indictments were unsealed, I think in a San Diego court. 75 defendants are going to be facing charges involving money laundering, drugs, and a number of other charges. So, people are concerned that nothing's happening. Things actually are happening. It's just, the big names aren't coming down as fast as people want them to, but we just need to have patience. So Q posted this: keep the resignation list updated, important. Keep the graphics updated, important. Speaking of resignations, the executive chairman of Dow DuPont Chemical, Andrew Liver, is resigning. That came out yesterday. So I have been trying to keep track of big-time resignations. Been slacking a little bit, but there are resignations continuing. Also, if you have not read this article, you may want to do that. This was on Zero Hedge. Former CIA officer exposes the Clinton charity fraud as the biggest scandal in U.S. history. If you want to know about the Clinton Foundation, this guy lays it all out there straight. Definitely worth reading. Short article, only take you a couple minutes to read. All right, let's go back to Q. Q suggested that Hollywood was created for a reason. They made many current and former enslaved children famous. Hollywood is filled with them, models. Find the loudest voices, brainwashed. Who was adopted? Who was born in? They thought the sheep would follow the stars. And then Q follows up. The spirit cooking discoveries bigger than you know. Follow Maria. That's actually Marina Abramovic. There's a reason the word conspiracy was made and pushed, their weapon against the awakening. So Q here is saying that there's a group of people who created the Hollywood star phenomenon. They did it for a reason, not just to enslave people in Hollywood, but to enslave us mentally to follow these stars wherever they go, whatever they do, whatever they endorse, whatever products they want to sell, whatever lifestyle they endorse, we're supposed to follow them. That was the plan. The plan was that we would just mindlessly follow them. And by the way, a lot of you know this, but the term conspiracy theory was popularized by the CIA in the 1960s to prevent average people from questioning official government and mainstream media explanations. And I am going to let you all know. For the record, unlike a lot of people who are investigating Q, I am not inclined to question official explanations. I don't investigate conspiracies, the occult, paranormal activities. They really don't interest me. I know there are people out there like Tracy Beans, who she has been investigating this kind of thing for a long time. She is very interested in that. I know that Jerome Corsi and Alex Jones and people of that nature, they are just fascinated by this stuff. I hate to break your heart, but that stuff does not interest me. The Illuminati and secret societies and all that stuff does not interest me. So I am researching Q partly because Denise, my wife, started researching Q, but really because I got interested because I had these dreams where I met Q in a dream. And I've had a lot of dreams since then about Q. And whether you know this or not, dreams are from God. God speaks to all of us through our dreams. And he has given me a specific assignment to research Q. So I keep my investigation pretty tightly focused on what Q is doing. I am also somewhat interested in the Clinton Foundation. I had a dream probably a year and a half ago. It had something to do with pedophiles, and as I started investigating pedophilia, I realized the Clinton Foundation was heavily involved in it. So I had been investigating that subject. But again, that was something that God asked me to research. Again, generally speaking, I am not terribly interested in conspiracies. If you tag me in links to articles and videos or send them to me by private message or email, I'm probably not going to read them or listen to the videos. So don't take it personally. I'm just not a person who's all that interested in general conspiracies. All right, moving along. So one of the Anons asked about the misspelling of Marina in the previous post. Did you mean Marina? Q says, on the move, misspelled, don't analyze it. Q posted a link to a YouTube video. Falls on deaf ears, not with this administration. Here's the video Q referred to, and you can listen to it. It's pretty short, just about 2 or 3 minutes.
Have Admiral James Lyons with us. Sir, welcome.
Well, thank you, Frank. Sorry I missed the earlier presentations due to my 3-hour and 20-minute commute this morning. But, as a number of you heard me say before, we've had many opportunities to change the course of history. And it hasn't mattered whether it's been a Republican or Democratic administration. We failed every one of them, starting with Carter, with the takeover of our embassy. We could have cut off Khomeini and his Islamic fundamentalism at the knees. We were going to take Karg Island, and he rejected it. We could have walked in. The next time was the Marine barracks bombing. And you all probably wonder why we never responded. I won't go into the long detail, but the guy that sabotaged the strike, and I'm glad you're all sitting down, was the Secretary of Defense. Not once, but twice. Reagan approved, the French wanted to do a combined strike, and Reagan approved it, and Weinberger wouldn't issue the order. I have personally talked to George Shultz and Bud McFarlane. They told me they pleaded with him, and he wouldn't do it. You have to say, who the hell got to him, or what got to him? I've never been able to get an answer on that. In the Gulf Tanker War in '87, we were going to bring down the Khomeini regime. And the guy that sabotaged, I had briefed Weinberger at my headquarters at Pearl Harbor that summer. And this was going to be in August of '87. And the one who undercut us the most was our own chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Crow, at the time. If you go forward and you look at, we shot down by accident that Iranian civilian airliner a few months later. And what did Khomeini do? He said, I'm drinking from the chalice of poison. And he said, I have to make a truce with Saddam Hussein because the Americans have shown they're coming in on Iraq's side. Well, think of what the hell we could have done had we executed the strike we wanted to do in August of '87. You know, we all say we have to identify the threat. Well, I think the one who identified it the best was Erdogan from Turkey, when he said, Islam is Islam. There are no modifiers. Democracy is the train we ride to our ultimate objective. He couldn't have said it any plainer. And until you recognize that Islam is a political movement masquerading as a religion, you're never going to come to grips with it. And as far as a strategy, let me just conclude one thing. And as I just had in my latest op-ed, the Obama administration has a strategy. It's very simple. Any thinking American should be able to grasp it. It's anti-American, anti-Western, it's pro-Islamic, it's pro-Iranian, and pro-Muslim Brotherhood. And with that, I'll yield the mic.
Thank you, sir.
So Q now turns to the subject of Angela Merkel's past and asks the Anons to dig into her past and the way that they name children in Germany. Angela Dorothea Kasner, daughter of a pastor, name of the father, history of the father, Hitler Youth member, haircut today versus then, A in parentheses, symbolic, U.S. intelligence post-war controlled who, the mission, who is Angela Hitler, relation to Adolf, how are children named in Germany during this period, first or middle name, family tree, Anna, Maria, Alois are examples. Risk of conspiracy label, the deeper we go. Truth will shock the world, Q. So, is Q saying that Angela Merkel is Hitler's daughter? That would be difficult because Angela Merkel, I think, is around 65 years old. She would have been too young to be an actual, normal, physical daughter of Adolf Hitler. So there is a connection here. I don't know what it is. The Anons are going to dig into it. You can research it too if you want. But Q is saying that we need to look into that, and here's why. Relevant to coming events, future will prove past, Q. So it's not something that we need to, have all the information about right now. In the future, it'll be helpful. Merkel did face some criticism when pictures of her turned up, showing her association with the East German communists in the 1970s. This is her wearing this in a uniform. And this is a Daily Mail UK article. You can check that out if you want. Q suggested that Merkel and Europe had been warned that the U.S. will not be taken advantage of under Trump. POTUS' recent tweet is relevant here. EU, enough is enough. She was warned, Q. That is, I believe, in reference to this tweet, which was on March 10th. European Union, wonderful countries who treat the U.S. very badly on trade, are complaining about tariffs on steel and aluminum. If they drop their horrific barriers and tariffs on U.S. products going in, we will likewise drop ours. Big deficit. If not, we tax cars, etc. Fair. Trump has been talking about reciprocal taxes and tariffs. He says, look, we're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. It's not going to happen. All right, Q posted this. 10 to comply. Choice is yours, Q plus. I'm guessing 10 days, maybe 10 months for Merkel to comply. She has already been making public statements. There was a news article yesterday where she said, if we get involved in a trade war with the United States, no one's going to win. So she's pushing back. She does not want to give up the benefits that Germany has in trade. But Trump is going to push her, and he's not going to give her much of a choice. All right, so Q posted this. The creation of the internet and connecting platforms is bringing about their downfall. Failure to control. Mainstream media is dead. Internet Bill of Rights. Q. So the puppet masters are losing power. And let's rejoice about that. One of the Anons asked about the resignation. Q. Goldman Sachs CEO stepping down. Executive order doing damage. And there's a link to a Goldman Sachs article. Lloyd Blankfein, who is the CEO of Goldman Sachs, announced he's going to be stepping down, retiring. Q says no, it's tied to Cohn. That would be Trump's former economic advisor. It was not his choice. He was a pawn. It was used. Q. So I find this very interesting because Q could have said, oh yeah, that's a result of Trump's executive order. But he said, no, it wasn't a result of the executive order. It was tied to Gary Cohn. So we'll see that. And this is an article about Lloyd Blankfein stepping down. All right, moving along. One of the Anons said, I'm so glad Cohn is out. Never liked or trusted his globalist arse. Q said, more coming. Keep your eyes open. Keep your powder dry. Waiting for more news about people who will be leaving the Trump administration. And of course, that'll give the mainstream media things to holler about. But Trump is all about results, and if someone's not doing the job, Trump's going to get rid of them. That's pretty much the way it is. Q then posted this picture. Q replied to his previous post. The Nazi order. NWO, and the N does not refer to new. Sum of all fears, NK, POTUS, hostage, threat, disarm, stage set, freedom, Q. I'm going to decode this, if I may. I believe what Q is telling us, I could be wrong, but there's a plan to use North Korea to bring about World War III, sum of all fears, hold the president hostage, maybe not literally, but figuratively, allow the puppet masters to disarm the American public, setting the stage for the New World Order to take power. Trump and the U.S. military have detected the globalist plan, and they are dismantling the apparatus right now. The image that Q posts, actually I found it on this article, and it is about the German churches under Hitler, the Nazi state. You're welcome to read that if you're interested. It's on the Holocaust Encyclopedia. All right, Q says this. What we've been given is a glimpse. You cannot possibly imagine the size of this. Trust the plan. There are more good than bad. The world is helping. We're not alone. We are all connected in this fight. Patriots unite. We are winning bigly. Watch the speech. God bless. That's referring to Trump's speech on the night of the 10th, which I did listen to, and it was pretty bigly. Trump called out the fake news media, fake as hell CNN. He was going after sleepy Chuck Todd. He was going after a lot of people. All right, Q posted this. N does not refer to Nazi. The continued Nazi ideology, however, is relevant. Events will clarify. Think subgroup Q. So Q is telling us the ideology of the Nazis is relevant, all right, to what is happening today. One of the Anons here posted and kind of picked up on what's going on. So he said, Hitler was a puppet of the controlling families of the New World Order. Right. And Q reposted this because he's letting us know the Anon is on the right track. The same people and forces that backed Hitler are behind the leaders today like Merkel and others in Europe who are pushing for a global state. It's the same people, same agenda. They were using Hitler to advance their one world government, and they're doing the same thing today. It's the same people, same forces. Maybe not the same people literally, but the same groups. So Q then posted this. This is an icon that was used by the 1933 parliamentary wing of the Communist Party of Germany, and this is an Antifa flag. Q says, coincidence? Yeah, they're even recycling their icons. This is a picture that one of the Anons posted that shows these flags and banners being used in Germany during and before World War II. Q says, these people are stupid. Maxine, stupid. So Q then posted this. CNN airing assassination of JFK. This was the night of the Trump speech. CNN 3-second delay on the speech. CNN Jim's finger on the button ready to stop transmission. These people are sick. Q. Q is basically suggesting that CNN had to use a lot of self-control not to cut the feed of Trump's speech. And I think he's suggesting that the airing of the JFK assassination documentary may have been a threat. Q said, you witnessed a strength test tonight. Speech promoted here, POTUS, to gauge response. Net was slowed. Protections in place. Q. So obviously there were some people who were pushing back against Q's message and the president's message. Slowed down the internet, but they had protections in place. So there is opposition out there. The Anons were decoding the NWO. This one said, anyone mention NWO referencing, and that's, I can't pronounce that German word, the National Economic Order. And one of the Anons says, good work, Anon, but that word does not mean national, it means natural. So it would be natural economic order. And that is, I think, what Q was getting at, is that what the globalists want to push on us is what they call a natural economic order, which sounds perfectly benign and really nice, but it's not. And then Q says, we went too deep, attempted a pullback, not ready. Q. That is the last thing that Q has posted. And that post is a little bit ominous. It suggests that they probably went a little bit too far. They're getting a lot of pushback, maybe from people in Europe and from the establishment. So it was a test. And Q and the team learned a few things. Oh, wanted to show you this. This is an article. Brittany Pettibone and her boyfriend, Martin Sellner, were arrested in the UK because they wanted to go there and interview Tommy Robinson. They were stopped at the border. So in the UK, if you're a conservative, you are no longer welcome. They don't want you there. And you are maybe subject to arrest just for being there. On a positive note, one of the Anons said this: cut the grass today, cut a big Q in it by the road. Got a lot of honks, and one guy stopped and yelled, boom. Word is spreading. Word is spreading indeed. That is all I have for you today. Love you. Thank you for your prayers. I will keep you in prayer. Thank you for your financial support. Thank you for sharing this with your friends. If you want to subscribe to my channel on YouTube and to get notifications, or Vimeo, that'd be great. Q and the team and the president are doing great things. I think we have a lot to be optimistic about. Keep your eyes on the news this week. Love you all. Take care. This is Praying Medic. I'll catch you on the next broadcast.